Slide. So before we begin, I want to look at just a couple of the various aspects of the customer's profile. So we need to understand our customer's background and experiences and learning characteristics. It's critical for us to build out proper customer education programs. So knowing this can actually help us tailor our interactions and support to meet their specific needs. So what are we going to look at? We're going to be looking at learning characteristics. We're going to be looking at customer profile exploration. We're going to be looking at customers' background and experiences. And of course, the prior knowledge of the customer, which is really important for us to understand. We don't want to make sure that we're creating content that our customers already know. We want to make sure that we understand what they know so that we can deliver content that is new and educational for them as well. Next slide. So we'll be taking a look really at our first use case here, and we're going to be leveraging AI to create a customer persona and develop onboarding content based on a persona's pain points and motivation. So exploring a learner's profile in customer education is not just about understanding who those learners are, but it's also understanding and it's about utilizing that understanding to create more effective and engaging and impactful learning. So in this use case, we are actually asking ChatGPT to act as a customer success manager like myself at Monday.com. And we're going to create 4 Monday.com customer personas engaged in a customer education program about our project management software. You can see over here on the right, when we did ask ChatGPT, this is actually one of the profiles that did come up. So we understand this particular persona's background. We understand some of the challenges they're facing. So ChatGPT can really help us build these profiles and gather information at a lot quicker pace than if we tried to do that ourselves.
And Brett, if someone export from Churn Zero, for example, that we are using, all our notes about the customers that we already have, and then feed this file into ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, can you please create personas? Then these personas are not going to be created like in that prompt, but they are going to be created based on our data. So these data are going to drive the development of these ICPs. And as you can see here on the right, we have a senior event planner, Emily, and then we have the Monday.com use case, which says use project templates for different type of events. You have to set up timelines and assign tasks. These are the things that Emily has to do for the planner. And then you have the education program focus. Where should you focus? So you understand where your ICPs essentially want to focus. That's the nice thing.
And then you can head on to the next slide. And George, it's probably a good thing that you mentioned about feeding data into ChatGPT, because that really does come into play kind of in the next use case here. So right now in this use case, we want to focus on specific backgrounds and experiences. So we're looking into our learners' backgrounds and experiences. In this scenario, we ask AI to act as an experienced customer success manager and outline a customer's background and experience with our software at various stages throughout the onboarding process. Now, onboarding is something that I'm very used to here at LearnWorlds. And I can tell you that this is extremely important for me to understand where all the different challenges are during that onboarding process. But the only way that ChatGPT is going to actually find this data and create a prompt and give us that information back is if we feed it the correct information or the correct data. So in this case, we might be pulling that data from, let's say, our customer success software that talks about all the different stages and the challenges those customers are facing. We're pulling that data into one area, and we're pulling this information together where we can actually use it. So you can see we've actually put together a nice little prompt here, and again, we've got the information over here on the right regarding onboarding and the areas that the challenges some of the customers have faced, and some of the experience that they've had. In our third use case, we're actually going to act kind of more towards the head of customer education, and we'd like to gain a better understanding of our customer pain points by analyzing the data from our support tickets. So many of you, I know you guys, I did see a lot of information in that poll about chatbots, but many of us are using some type of ticketing system. Customers are like George said, we have about 5,000 tickets regularly. And that data does flow in, and we can actually utilize that data using AI and actually find the information and collect that data together to make it easier for us to find the information we need. So we could ask AI to clean that data. Maybe we just want a ticket ID, description, or an issue category. We could ask AI to analyze those categories that we put together and provide us with a nice little frequency bar chart, right? So you can see over here on the right-hand side, we've actually kind of layered out these steps for you. AI can be leveraged to conduct a text analysis and identify only the tickets that focus on a product while identifying any patterns. So again, we're looking further into the data that we have in those ticketing systems, and we're pulling additional information together to help meet our goal of analyzing, our complex data and not just kind of fishing through it to find, regular things and trying to manually put that together. Now we can actually create categories and group comments and share commonalities. And we can utilize that AI tool to provide a word cloud related to the most common issues. So we really want to understand visually what the biggest problems are with our product or the biggest problems that our customers are facing. A word cloud is a great way of doing that, and AI can actually put that together for you very easily.
It's amazing how easy it is to feed all this data where we should ask for an expert, which would get probably asked for 5 days to analyze all this data. And what we are doing right now, we're saying, let's export the tickets, let's feed the ticket to ChatGPT, and let's ask for some analysis. And we can have a first analysis in 10 minutes. What about that?
I was going to say, back in the day, people would spend thousands and thousands of dollars for someone to look into their system and analyze those tickets and put them into Excel sheets so that we can analyze them some more. It can be done, like you said, in a matter of moments now that we have AI. So it's a really nice use case. Speaking of use cases, right now up on the screen is a really detailed mega prompt, I would call it, to help you create customer education need analysis survey. And I believe we're going to be sharing that in the chat, so you guys can utilize that yourself. We really just need to fill in the gaps and run it on ChatGPT, and we're going to help share this prompt with you. Make sure that you are including in that prompt, though, a nice little introduction. You got to add some context into that prompt. You need to add some specific questions in there. Be clear. Put detailed inquiries in there. Detail and preferences. Make sure you're giving crucial information. Your follow-ups you need to do with the data and desired outcome. So when you plug all that into this nice prompt, you're going to get a nice little survey that you can send out to your customers to gather the information that you need on the customer experience. In fact, you could probably just bypass this slide, George. All right, so now we're going to be looking at the Academy curriculum creation. So actually, this is something that we would do after we got those survey results. So we're going to take all that data that we get from that prompt that we just showed you. We're going to ask ChatGPT to act as an instructional designer. In this case, we're saying at Salesforce, aiming to train customers on our software and analyze that data for customer education needs analysis. So all that stuff we got in from that survey. And we're going to suggest learning objectives. So again, this is a really great way to take that data that we get from that survey to understand your customer pain points, to understand where the education needs to be. And ChatGPT can actually come back and recommend the curriculum for those potential customers and what we need to be teaching in our customer education centers to help those customers better succeed with our software or our product.
So, Brett, may I recap this first phase?
Go for it.
We are saying that, guys, you already have some notes about your customers. You do know also the tickets that you are sending. So bring all the data, download all this data, upload this data to ChatGPT, ask about the learning gaps, build a survey to validate what you found, and then ask ChatGPT based on the results of the survey to build a curriculum, to build a proposal about different courses that you can create in your online academy so as to address all these learning gaps. That's a great acceleration of building a customer education program. And I think we can go on to the second block. Elisa?
Yeah. So yes, so far we've talked about learning the customer's background, learning the user's background, the curriculum. So how do we go about creating an actual course, the course itself? Are we going to have a specific model in mind or a specific instructional design? It could be yes or no, and the AI tool could help with either or. So here are a few instructional models or principles that you could use. The ADDIE model, Bloom's taxonomy for learning objectives, SMART goals, Kirkpatrick's 4 levels of evaluation, the SAM model, action mapping by Kathy Moore, experiential learning by Call, problem-based learning, and some other principles like Garnier's 9 events of instructions and Merrill's principles of instruction. So quite a few options over here. And here, the key thing is that yes, perhaps you have come across one of these models. Maybe you even know them or not. But the thing is that the AI tool can actually help you not only knowing how they work, but also in applying this into your own course. So it's going to transform the content that you want based on this instructional model that you'll select based on this principle. If you can imagine, this would have taken a ton of time, not only to refresh your memory on how all of these work, but to also apply to your own course and your own project, essentially, right? So let's see how we can use some of these with the AI tool. So the first one over here, we have the ADDIE model, and here are the basic phases for it. So analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. Let's take a look at our prompt. So over here, we are an instructional designer working at Void, and our goal is to educate our customers, right? So we want to educate them on how to use the Void Go for video creation. So we want the tool, the AI tool, to follow the ADDIE model to create our course's outline. So let's see, and you'll see that right here into the outcome, it did exactly that. It came up with the result with our course over here. So first off, you see we have the analysis phase, the objective, the audience, and the needs for assessments. Moving on, we have the design stage. So over here, we have the course's structure, the content delivery, engagement ways and strategies. Then moving on, you'll find the development, implementation, and so on going further down. So again, just a great way not only to show you how the model works, but to help you apply it into your own course and into your own project that you're creating. Into the next example, we have Garnier's 9 events of instruction. We had a little debate about how we're pronouncing that, so apologies if I just butchered the name. Apparently it's French, so apologies for that. So 9 events over here: gaining attention, informing learners of any objectives for the course, stimulating recall of prior learning, presenting the content, providing learning guidance, eliciting performance or practice, giving feedback on performance, assessing performance, and enhancing retention. So this time we're trying to create our course based on this principle. So once more, we're acting as an instructional designer, this time working for Canva, and we're trying to design a course for this time not new customers, but existing customers on how they can use the Canva Magic Studio. So we're using the Garnier's 9 events of instruction to create the course. So let's take a look, and you'll see right here exactly that. So first off, the first event is gaining attention. How are we going to do that? Welcoming and introducing them via a video or just an icebreaker activity. Then informing the learners of the objective. So what should they take away from this course? What should they learn? Moving on, stimulating recall of prior learning. So if they have any prior knowledge into the course, into the topic, right? And so on. So it follows and goes on to all the other events based on Garnier. Moving on, we have Bloom's taxonomy. So this is focused on learning objectives. It has 6 levels. So starting off with knowledge, again, recalling previous information that you may have on the topic, comprehension, understanding, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So this time we're acting as the customer success manager, and we are actually feeding some information into the product again, so into the tool. So we're giving it some usage data, And we want the tool to understand how our customers interact with the features in our learning management platform. So we want to identify if there are any obstacles, any barriers, anything that is keeping them from understanding and adopting the features. So we want the tool to use the Bloom's taxonomy to create the learning objectives for this. And let's take a look. So here we have exactly that. So remembering, again, the knowledge level right here, identifying any key features on innovative AI, recalling steps, understanding the next level, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and so on. So it did exactly that. It took the data we fed, and based off of that, it generated our learning objectives. I'm going to move forward to the next one, and this time.
Sorry, just to interrupt you, Elisa. So what's the issue here? So we presented 10, 15 theories. So while you're creating your course, if you are an instructional designer, then you have to think, what's the course outline there? So the big question in the past was, should I use a theory? How that theory, which is the most suitable theory to apply to my course? Right now, you can do another thing. You can say, ChatGPT, can you apply 10 theories to see the potential course outlines, the different course outlines that I could create? And then it is up to you to select the best components for from all the different outlines and build the outline that you're feeling better and you think that is better for your customer. So it's also the breadth of the application of the knowledge. While in the past we just were, we were putting a lot of burden to create just one outline, and now we are saying let's see 10 so as to select the best elements. So let's see how in LearnWorlds you can create a course outline, because I think it's a demonstrative of this power.
Yeah, and I think this part is going to be a little bit more interesting for you guys because you're going to see it in action actually. So we've seen it so far, essentially how you can do it with any AI tool out there. But here at LearnWorlds, we have our very own integrated AI assistant. So I'm going to show you right away, initially, how to create a course based off a specific model that you'll have in mind, for instance. So allow me to change my screens just so I can pop up my video over here. And while I'll play it, I'm going to be fast forwarding a little bit just so that I can focus on some main points. So here we have the wizard for our course creation, just easy peasy. You just need to follow through the steps. I'm just going to fast forward that. So as soon as you do that, you're into the course itself, and you have a few options over here to start creating the course's material. So of course, one of the options is AI. So here you get to decide, well, the theme, the topic of your course, and then exactly the type of activities that you're adding. So not only the instructional design models, but other things too. So you can determine the exact number of sections and activities that you want your course to have. You can decide whether or not you want to include specific key topics, or like I'm doing over here, select a specific instructional design approach. So you see there's a few options over here, and the options are essentially all of those that we saw earlier into the list. You can decide whichever one you want to, and in a matter of, I don't know, seconds, it's going to apply the one that you have selected. So over here, we went for the ADI model. It could be the Garnier's one, Merrill's, whichever one you have in mind, you can select it from the list over here. And of course, it doesn't stop over there. You'll see that you can even specify what course this is going to be. Is it going to be an introductory one, a main one? It could be your master class. You can specify things such as your audience. Is this advanced users? Is it just novice users, new learners? Then you can determine the tone of voice. Usually this is one of my favorite ones, like have it attention grabbing, or perhaps just keep it humorous or friendly, and so on. So clicking on generate as soon as you're ready over here. So let me pause this a little bit and just describe what you saw before jumping into the results. So as you can imagine, ideally without the assistant right here, you would have to go in and actually manually type in and come up with a prompt for you to do all of that, right? But here we have all of that ready for you. So all you need to do is just clickety-clack, just, basically just check the checkbox that you wanted to go forward with, click on generate, and then it's going to come up with a result based on the instructional model that you decided. So here we went for ADDIE. It came up with a result, and you'll see that here you can change the activities, you can delete. Of course, it's not one and done, right? With the tool, you can, once you selected which one you want to go for, you click on insert. And what that's going to do is that it's going to take all of that lovely result and actually put it inside the course. And you don't have to do any copying, any pasting from different platforms, from the AI tool, copy it into your LMS or anything like that. It's right away, it's incorporated into the platform. So it's been added right in there. So here I'm just showing that if you want to, you can add more activities. Essentially, you can rephrase those so it doesn't stop just in the beginning by adding one. And I think this is the end of the first video. So let me go back into our presentation right here. Carry on. We're going to see a few more as we go further down, but yeah, let's go ahead with the content creation for now. And designing effective learning activities. I think, Brett, this is on you, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. That is me. So I just want you guys to close your eyes for a second and just imagine a world where learning activities are created at light speed. In the past, it was a dream, but now it is a reality with generative AI. And the goal of generative AI is really to create content quickly. It's a critical component nowadays for customer education. Why? Because the faster your customers learn to use a product, the quicker they adopt it. And I think many of us in customer success are very aware of this, as the first thing we try to do with most of our customers during the onboarding stage is to get them trained up on the platform. Because the more you know about that product, the more you know about the features of that product, the more likely they are going to adopt that product quicker and understand how to use it quicker. So if they can't figure it out, usually frustration sets in. They either abandon the product altogether, they can't find certain functionalities, they think they're not there, and they end up leaving or writing a bad review, right? So it's important that we're able to generate quick content, but also quality content, and AI allows us to do that. So just on this slide here, just wanted to kind of just list a few things that AI really could help enhance for you. So all of us are familiar with flashcards. I think a lot of us grew up, or maybe I'm aging myself, but a lot of us grew up with flashcards, learning, different things at school. And now AI can actually create those flashcards quite quickly. It can create timelines for you. It can build quizzes. It can build exams. It can build case studies, stories, storyboard things for you. So just think about all the different types of content you use to educate your customers, and think about how AI could actually potentially help build you that now, and the time that you could save and the money that you could save putting those things together using AI. So in this use case, there's actually two use cases on this page, and I'll mention why, but we're talking about how we can actually use AI to build slides. So if we plug into ChatGPT, hey, I want you to act as a customer success manager, and I want you to draw and create 10 slides that inform customers about the key features of Draw.io. So you're going to get a prompt back, right? You're like you see over here on the right-hand side. You're going to get a prompt back with slides that AI has created for you. But what I wanted to point out, and you'll see down here in the second kind of use case down at the bottom here, is the fact that the more information you feed AI, the more detailed prompts you're going to get back. So in this case, if we did that same use case, but instead we also asked it to present at least 3 key takeaways and bullet points, provide detailed speaker notes, and propose creative touches, as well as generate related images on each slide, we're going to get a much more populated slide. But AI can do this for you. It can actually take the time to generate those slide decks that used to spend hours and hours putting together, and it can do it in a matter of moments.
So in all of this stuff, the first thing that you have to remember is the different type of things that you can create. Slides, timelines, whatever. The second thing is that you have to remember to write the best possible prompt so as to get the best possible results. It's not only about asking about slides, it's also about asking slides that have images, takeaways, creative touches, and so on. So I think this is very important note, Brett, for everyone.
Agreed. Completely agree. Yeah, so the next thing we're looking at here is flashcards, like I mentioned before. So flashcards are interactive. They're visually stimulating to our users, and AI can help build them in a flash. Sorry, terrible joke. But again, we look at a use case here and we say, we need you to act as a flashcard generator, and we want you to extract the purpose, key features, and the ideal use of 5 products described in the attachment. So again, feeding data. We are feeding ChatGPT an attachment with the 5 products that we wanted to describe on these flashcards. We then wanted to summarize the information to fit the limited space on the back of a flashcard, right? Because if you just feed it information, ChatGPT is going to come back with a nice large explanation, but we're telling it needs to fit on a flashcard. And then generate 1 image per feature to fit on the front of those flashcards. So again, it's going to look at the attachment, it's going to look at the product information, it's going to generate an image on the front of that, and then it's going to build the summarization of that product on the back end of those flashcards. Again, just another really nice activity and use case of how you can actually use AI to generate that customer education content. George, I think
yes. Now that's something very well. Always when you're creating a learning experience, you have the same fear. At least I'm feeling that the fear is of making the learners being bored, and that's that is what is happening when you're presenting things. Even if ChatGPT start creating slides and whatever. Again, the fear of boredomness is huge. So that's why we always say you have to use ChatGPT also to help you think out of the box in terms of how you present your experiences, the things that you want your learners to learn about in your customer training program. So here we have 4 categories of we are not going to delve into that. I'm just going to say that, for example, you do have a complex explanation about what is a calendar project for Monday.com. And you want to have a different, let's say, perspective on that. And just not to just start talking about what is a calendar and so on. So he can ask ChatGPT to say, how would you explain a calendar to a 5-year-old boy with Lego? So you will get a result which will be amazing. You will not believe what you are going to see in your screen. You say, okay, I can describe that in a very different manner. Or can you say to me what is a calendar project as a cowboy? So you will start in a ranch and with a story that is talking about why calendars are important for the cowboys, why they can use also Monday.com. So I think this is a very interesting. We do not have time to delve into that. In our books that we are going to send you, we have several techniques and prompts on how to create creative stuff here. So we definitely want to push you and to read this book so as to learn these techniques. I think we do have an example immediately after in the next slide. Yes, we have the analogies. So right now, ChatGPT and AI in general is fantastic in creating unexpected connections. So right now we are saying we want to create a course on marketing, but we want you to make an analogy from cooking. So if you see on the right, we are talking about market segmentation through cooking. And we are talking the basic of cooking, ingredients and recipes. And you see the analogy is being explained, and the key takeaways for the market segments also are there. So if you have a difficult, let's say, content, which you know that it is theory, for example, you have to explain some concepts and so on, please use AI to think out of the box and create some fantastic, examples which will change the way also your customers are seeing you, the fun part of yours, you know, the enjoying part of yours, and so on. So let's go to the next.
I think next up we are having another demo. So this time, so far into the demo part, we've shown how to create the course on the platform, but now let's explore the activities as well. So in this demo, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a video, an ebook learning activity, because obviously text is king really on all courses with AI as well. So I'm going to play this for you and start narrating. So right here, we're onto an ebook. And once more, you can do it from scratch. You can even import your files as well if you want to. And of course, you can do it with the help of AI as well. Now, I'm just gonna do a little pause over here just to show you a small little glimpse of what is possible. And you'll see that there's a scroll bar, so that means there's even more. So you can do a simple text, right? Just add a little text or create a story. Like George said, you need to think outside the box and be creative with your activities. So create a Q&A, you can create a little timeline, a journal, a glossary, learning objectives, you can simplify concepts, explain a character. The list goes on, and I think if I play the video, it even scrolls so you guys can see more.
And I think, Elisa, that this is the important stuff here. You have, as customer educational trainers, you have to both know the prompting stuff, but also to know tools that can help you do all that stuff. So in LearnWorlds, you don't need to know how to make analogies. We do have here a template that will say to you, which is the analogy that you would like to do? Cooking. How far would you like us to go? Too much. Okay, yeah. That's an example. So that's the two things that you have, the prompts and tools. And it's not only about LearnWorlds. We feel that we are leaders, but several tools are offering these kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here in our example, for instance, I think we're creating a glossary, only because a lot of times you want to explain terms on a specific subject. So here, our subject is highlighted features. You see that we need 6 terms, so it's going to come up with 6 terms on this topic. And let me pause a little bit. You can describe them all extensively or in short. It's absolutely up to you, and just show them in an alphabetical order. So once you're ready right here, click on generate, and that's going to come up with the exact glossary, so terms that we selected over here. So you see the terms right here, augmented reality, and then it goes into also elaborate on what that term means, cloud storage, and so on. And you'll see that they are also in alphabetical order. Now, as with everything that the AI assistant creates for you, at the bottom, you can choose to insert, regenerate if you don't like the results and what it came up with. So I'm just going to fast forward over here. And as we saw earlier with the course wizard, you'll see that same thing happens with the ebook as well. So the content is directly imported into the ebook editor, either for you to go ahead and add more things, or you can keep on editing it. And I think that on this video, we're going back and we're adding another activity with the help of AI. And this time, instead of the glossary, we are asking for it to simplify a concept for us. So simplify the menus and the settings. You decide what it's going to do, right? So we want it to be balanced. You can decide to include specific keywords while specifying if you want to. So perhaps you have a very complex topic, right, that you're talking about. So that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to simplify that for you. So if you were to read through this, you'll see it does exactly that, on what menus and settings are, again, according to your topic. So I'm going to fast forward. So same thing over here. You can keep it, you can insert it. So once more, it's going to be added right into your ebook editor. And of course, you can go back at the AI assistant over there and you can choose to add more things. So this is essentially the list that we saw earlier. You can find it inside the ebook as well.
Sorry, Elisa. I think the most important stuff here is that now we have to admit that these are all generic prompts. These are not real prompts. For example, LearnWorlds would never say create a glossary about what is a course platform, but we would say see our support center, get from that URL the terms and create the glossary. Because that's exactly the question that someone asked right now. Where did the content from the glossary come from? So always you are feeding your data and then you are using the prompts. That's the, let's say, the main playbook for customer education training programs. You do have your own data and you want ChatGPT to customize this data for creating and transforming them into content. And I think we have to start going a little bit faster.
Yeah, I think we're good with this video. Let's move over with our presentation. And next up is content optimization and repurposing. So what does that mean? So of course, sometimes you need to create things from scratch, but there's a lot of time where you have content already made from previous I don't know, previous courses or whatever that is. So you may have content from the past that you can reuse, you can repurpose onto your new course. So can AI help us with that? Absolutely. So let's go ahead and take a look. So AI can help you with your pre-existing content, whether that's an ebook, whether that's just simple text or you know, a paragraph, a story. It can help you further edit that and enhance that so that you can reuse it and repurpose it. So it can help you simplify your text, polish, rewrite, rephrase, shorten if it's too long, expand if it's too short, enrich the content, keep writing if you wanted to continue the work that you left off, and eliminate any redundancies. Now, besides helping you edit your content and polishing it, it can also help you optimize it. So for instance, you may have a large text. It can summarize it for you. You can extract key takeaways, make a list of pros and cons, translate it even, of course, to another language, right? It can help you convert your content into something different, perhaps a step-by-step or how-to guide, and even extract key points. So as you can see, there is a great demand, obviously, for new content, but AI is here to also help you repurpose, enrich, and reuse older content that you already had. Right, so I'm going to move over to the next one. And this is exactly what we're doing on this demo. So another little video over here. Let me show you.
Here, Elisa, let's go fast here, very fast.
Yeah, so the only thing I want to show you here, it's pretty much the same thing, but this time what we're doing is that we are feeding into the tool a URL. So you'll see that's what I'm doing over here. So we have an article that we already have from before, right? So content that we already have. And we're feeding this into the tool. And this time we're wanting it to create it into an ebook, into a step-by-step how-to guide. So it does exactly that. I'm just going to fast forward real fast just to save us.
The important thing is that you are giving the support articles. So you're making support articles to content pieces. So how cool is that?
So that's exactly what's happening over here. I'm going to real quick just jump back into the presentation just to save us some time. And next up, we are talking about assessments and certifications. Ain't that right, Brett?
That's correct. Right? And this is me for sure. This is actually one of my favorite things that AI can do for us. To be honest, you know, a lot of us spend time taking the content that we put together, trying to pull out and extract questions and things that we can ask our customers to make sure that the content that we're creating is actually being absorbed by them. So it's a huge part of an effective customer education program is being able to understand and provide feedback, you know, and assess your customers. One thing AI can actually do for us is actually help with the creation of quizzes, exams, and certification programs, which helps motivate those users, right? A user is more likely to spend time understanding your product and understanding what you're offering and how to use it if they're going to get some type of certification at the end. So one thing you can do with AI is actually use that to build assessments, quizzes, all sorts of things. I'm going to move on to the next slide here. And just as an example here, we did put together, again, another little use case for you. One thing you can do is actually ask AI to build you a multiple choice quiz to assess customers' understanding of the innovative AI product. So if we were to, we could take ChatGPT, we could look at this little PowerPoint presentation that we put together, And we could create an assessment from that. We could say, provide 6 questions. Each question should have 4 answers. Indicate the correct answer for each question and provide an encouraging and supportive feedback based off of wrong answers and celebrate and appreciate based off of the correct answers. So again, we're telling ChatGPT to build exactly what we want and then provide feedback for our users based off of the answers they're giving. Next slide. We can even use chat AI to create multiple choice exams, right? To address customers' understanding after completing a GDPR compliance course. So again, we're looking at ChatGPT, we're saying provide 10 questions. Each question should have 4 answers, right? So we're telling them exactly what the types of questions are. Now you could get more detailed on this. You could say, I want an essay question. I want 4 multiple choice, 2 true or false, and provide that data into the system. And again, it's going to help you build that assessment based off of the data that you are feeding it. So if you're pointing them at your product pages, if you're pointing it at a PowerPoint or an ebook that you've created, or any of that content that you want that quiz crafted off or that assessment crafted after, it's very easy to do that. And again, on the right-hand side, you get a nice little example of what this particular prompt would have generated if we added that into ChatGPT.
Great. All right. I think the next slide is another demonstration, and I think this one is my favorite so far. So now let's take a look and see how LearnWorlds helps you with the AI assistant to create an assessment. So here, I'm going to fast forward once more. We're adding an exam activity. You'll see, just give it a name, and then from inside, we decide what we want to do. So we want to create questions. You can add multiple choice, true or false. You can create drop downs with multiple right answers, reordering, open-ended. You can feed and allow them to have file assignments, and the list goes on and on. So all of these, the tool can help you with. I'm going to fast forward over here, and you need to decide where you're creating the assessment for, let's say, mobile applications over here. That's what our course was related. You can decide the number of the multiple questions, how many available answers there are going to be for each question. You can decide other types of questions like true or false or drop downs, right? So the list is right here. You get to decide the level of the assessment. It's going to be an easy one, the tone of voice. Again, you can decide based on a specific model like Bloom's taxonomy, as we saw earlier. So many things over here. I'm going to, again, fast forward a little bit so that you guys can see. So all of these options you get to determine. Click on generate once ready, and there you have it. So you see that it came up with our questions. The first one is a multiple choice. We have 4 answers, 4 different answers that we can decide. Of course, as an admin, we know which one is right. The system knows too. And it even proposes feedback, so automatic feedback based on whether they go for the right or incorrect answer, right? So this is great. Obviously, it's not just the multiple choice ones. It's whatever you chose from the list earlier to create. So again, you can generate and insert it. Here, I'm just showing you that it's adding this right away into the builder, into your assessment builder. No, not only do you not have to come up with any examples for the assessment, but again, it's right into the platform for you, and it even proposes feedback as well.
And again, the trick, I think we can skip the next video.
Yeah.
Again, the trick is here that you have to give your material so as to create the right assessment. So in our case, in LearnWorlds, you can just upload your file, give a URL, and then we are going to use the data together with our advanced prompting, and we are going to bring you an assessment in just a couple of seconds, which is fully completed with feedback, with right and wrong questions, with scoring and everything, and you can use that in a sec. So let's go faster.
Yeah, just something last. Should I touch upon the feedback? I think
we can skip that.
Okay, so just to mention
9 o'clock. So let's try to go faster.
You want me to show you? Okay, so what if you have open-ended questions where you have to go in and manually offer feedback? Well, the AI assistant can help you with that too. So let's say we have one right here, and here's the question and the user's answer. You'll see down here that you can go ahead and manually type in your feedback, as you know, anywhere. But of course, you can help use AI to do that for you. So you can decide what type of feedback. Is it going to be a simple one? Is it going to be a strict one? Do you want to have a long or short one, or select the tone of voice? So pretty much the same options that we saw earlier, you can even apply on creating the feedback. So again, the feedback will be created based on the user's answers, not a generic one. It's not a feedback that, you know, it just came up with. The feedback follows along the question and then the user's answer, and then it creates a feedback for you. Obviously, again, you can go through it, you can read through it and change it, polish it if you want to, but it does the heavy lifting for you. It kind of like comes up with feedback, essentially. All right, so I'm gonna pause this just to move a little faster. And next up, we have the fifth application, which is marketing. So of course, we need help in creating the activities and the course outline. But what happens when it comes to promoting it? Perhaps you want to grow your audience, or address your leads and nurture them and contact them. So what are some of the ways that you can use AI to help you with that? So the first and popular one is, of course, email. So you can use prompting to have it create and compose emails for you. So right here, we're just letting them know that we need an email around 200 words, or we specify our audience, we specify what the email is going to say, and it's going to come up with that exactly. You see, dear customer's name, we're excited to announce this and that, so whatever criteria you give. So one option is creating the email. And I don't know if we should show it in here, George, at all.
I think we can skip that also.
Yeah. So LearnWorlds also uses the AI assistant in creating the email. So it offers you some templates and ways that you can generate the email on your own, again, just to help you fast track it and do it faster. And of course, another way to create marketing material would be with creating images. So you can go in detail, letting the tool know exactly what you need. So here we said, we need an office layout with minimalistic desktop. We want our brand name to show there and there, and so on. Then you can be as detailed as you want, and the AI tool is going to come up with, well, exactly that, essentially. All right, data analysis is next.
And that is me. So obviously, with all these different points to number 6 here, data analysis is extremely important, because it is going to help us understand of everything that we created for customer training courses, how our customers are actually interacting with those training programs, how we need to identify areas for improvement. And we can do this by using AI to analyze performance scores, engagement rates, completion rates, and that way we can help make data-driven decisions to enhance our training content. So we could go through all that manually, and that could take us a very long time. So another really great way to use AI is to look at all that information so that we can better improve what we're offering our customers. Next slide, please. Oops. So let's walk through a data analysis process for course participation and performance metrics using this prompt that we have here. We can ask ChatGPT to act as a data analysis tool and give us participation rates, performance scores, engagement rates, completion rates. We can even ask for suggestions to improve what we put together on our performance. We can help look at this as an engagement analysis. There's a lot that you can do with this tool. So again, we can ask, help me understand the attached data regarding customer enrollments and completion rates and progress. This data resulted from customers who attended the second wave of LearnWorlds Accelerator program. Conduct an analysis of that data and use tables and diagrams as you see fit. Now you can see on the right-hand side, we get some really nice diagrams back. It's very easy for a tool like this to look at data and put that together for us instead of us having to manually do that.
And if I'm not mistaken, Brett, we just downloaded the course progress from inside our platform, and then we feed that file here and say, give us an analysis of how our students are progressing. So it was so easy to create that stuff. And then I think we have another prompt.
We do. So again, we're going to go to just another prompt here. So we're going to follow the next steps to analyze data in the attached file. The data concerns my customer's progress and completion rates for the second wave of LearnWorlds Accelerator program. So we want to, again, we're feeding it additional prompt information. Determine the participation rate in activities and display results in a bar chart. We want to identify performance score of learners in the course across 3 categories, high, medium, and low, and display those results in a pie chart, as you can see over here on the right-hand side. And we want to display in a pie chart customers' course completion rate per activity. So that is each activity that you have within that course. That can be extremely powerful when you're trying to understand what activities are too hard for your users or something that they are not really paying attention to, because you can help change that and modify that so that you can drive, higher activity in those courses. And then lastly, we're going to, based on the analysis, suggest actionable recommendations to improve this course. So again, you can actually have it look at the data and say, here's what I think you can do to improve the results of this course. AI is absolutely incredible, and it will help you take the data that you do have and really make use out of it extremely quickly.
I think there are 2 questions that need to be answered. I think we are going to share also this book for you. This book, Elisa, please show that book, is a book of how to build prompts that are elaborated and they are better and more efficient and will make you faster professionals and more careful professionals. So this is something we also going to share, if I'm not mistaken, also a second ebook about how you can use ChatGPT in education in general. There are 2 questions in there. So that's the presentation. I think from the comments, a lot of people were enthused with what they've seen, with the possibilities here. But there are 2 main concerns. The first one, how secure should I feel when I'm sharing data with ChatGPT? So for that reason, and this is how we also we have implemented that and executed in LearnWorlds, the best way is to have your own ChatGPT or whatever account and connect that account to every learning management system. So in LearnWorlds, if you have a ChatGPT account, you can connect that through an API key, and then you are still talking with your own ChatGPT. So you are sharing nothing to us. Everything is in your own ChatGPT custom account. So that's the way we feel, and we need to, especially you are in a customer training program. So the data that we invited you to share indeed to ChatGPT are critical data. So do not share it with LearnWorlds ChatGPT. Have your own ChatGPT and share it to that ChatGPT. So as for you, can we control yours data? We can't. We don't understand. Is this data protected in the context of LearnWorlds? Yes, it is protected. But the best possible protection for you is to have your own custom ChatGPT account there connected to LearnWorlds and use all of our technology there on top of your own account. Okay. The second stuff is, how sure should we be about the results of ChatGPT? You shouldn't be sure at all. The human part is the most important part when we are talking about results from AI. So did AI produced 10 questions which were fantastic? Yes. How possible is to have problems here and there in these questions? Highly possible. So you may have problems with the feedback. You may have problems with some statement. You may have problems with some scoring things. So always the human factor is the last and most critical factor in your customer education program. Let's not forget that. AI is here to accelerate, to help you build a draft of content in a manner that we couldn't imagine 1 year ago. But yet again, you are the owner of the content. You should take over of, let's say, ensuring the quality of the content. Okay, so I think these are 2 answers. This is the way that we also in LearnWorlds work. So let's go to the small surprise. So first of all, for us, we are all here to let you know about new opportunities of how you can exploit AI in your customer education programs. If you want, however, to explore LearnWorlds, which we think is the best customer education platform out there, we have a discount for you. with this code, with LWC Customer Education 20, you can see the discount code. It's about 20% off. We are always crazy with these webinars. And you can save up some hundreds of dollars. Test LearnWorlds, see whether that fits with your purpose. And if it fits, you can still be here and have the help of Brett and Elisa and all of our excellent customer support and management, customer success managers team, so as to help you build your own customer education program and also share our learning from different customer education programs that others have created. It's important to say that this is eligible for pro and learning centers, but usually all of these customers are at least learning centers from our experience. So don't forget the discount, note it down. You also have the recording tomorrow, so the discount is going to be there. Don't miss the opportunity if you like what you've seen inside our platform today. I think we don't have time for more questions.
Yeah. So if you guys have any other questions we didn't answer, reach us at support@learnworlds.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer from there.
We hope that this was a fruitful and creative discussion for you. It was an eye-opening discussion. If you want to comment on what you've seen and if you like the webinar, we are going to stay for 2-3 minutes and read your own reviews of what happened in this webinar. We are always putting all of our effort, all of our passion to share all that knowledge for you. We are a knowledge business. We feel that this is our obligation to share everything that we know and let people become better in their jobs, let our customers and not only become better on their jobs. And that's exactly the essence of customer education. This was a customer education webinar at the very end. We wanted our customers and probably prospecting customers or customers of other platforms to learn more about how to exploit AI in the daily reality. We hope it was a constructive session for you. Have a great day, rest of the day.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, Brett. Thanks a lot, Elisa.
Thank you.